county home has been in existence for about 180 years. Its mission is to take care of the elderly of Chautauqua County. Residents, regardless of ability or lack of ability, it is a place for them to go. Each department in the county has a mission statement. I believe the legislature has one, and nowhere in it will you find it saying it's more important to have money for giveaways and tax breaks to private businesses than it is to protect the elderly residents of Chautauqua County. If you sell the county home to VestraCare and they can't make a profit on a current or future Chautauqua County resident, they are free not to admit them, as is every other nursing home in the county. If that happens, where do they go? Sadly, they may have to go to another public home hundreds of miles from Chautauqua County, creating a hardship for them and their families. And the taxpayers will still have to pay for their care. But it seems all anyone wants to talk about is money. Okay, let's talk about money. You spend $80,000 of taxpayers' money on a report.
When you put all of these together, the enterprise fund numbers, the IGT numbers, and the matching or the indirect cost numbers, instead of a significant deficit from year to year over the 5-year period, you actually have the nursing home, all things considered, with a small, roughly $650,000 surplus, an average of about $110,000 a year. When you put all of these together, the enterprise fund numbers, the IGT numbers, and the matching or the indirect cost numbers, instead of a significant deficit from year to year over the 5-year period, you actually have the nursing home, all things considered, with a small, roughly $650,000 surplus, an average of about $110,000 a year.
Then when it didn't say what you wanted it to say, you just ignored it. Regarding the sale, you say it's for $16.5 million, but we know after you gave VestraCare the accounts receivables, it's $15.2.
The county finalized a contract this week to sell this whole property, including the gas well, for $16.5 million.
It's not often you hear about deals like this in the Southern Tier. And new tonight, 2 on Your Side's Danny Spiewak tells us about this big deal and some controversy.
The CGR report explained that after the bond is paid off, which was taken out for the renovations, the legacy costs for employees, and other expenses, there will be less than $1 million left. Add in the $500,000 in chargebacks lost. Also, you forgot to tell the taxpayers that if VestraCare does not rehire 100 to 150 employees at the home, which is a real possibility now that they don't have to honor the RFP on the hiring of county home employees, the taxpayers of Chautauqua County will be on the hook for their unemployment, not New York State. This could result in millions of dollars Chautauqua County taxpayers will have to pay. I was going to say tonight, vote your conscience, not your wallet, but knowing that this sale is not going to put money into Chautauqua County taxpayers' pockets, it's going to empty them. I'll just say do what's right for all the residents of Chautauqua County. Vote no.
We urge you to vote no on the sale of the Chautauqua County home. The continuity of care is the most important issue for the residents of the home. There is no high turnover of workers. Therefore, the residents are like family to them. As for the IGT funds costing taxpayers, private-owned nursing homes receive many millions more in government funding. It is still taxpayer dollars. VestraCare in Ulster County contracted out work in the home. Finally, along with my co-workers, are appalled at the county exec using the Chautauqua County website on his Monday morning memo to further his political agenda and pit Lakeshore healthcare workers against county workers, saying that what a wonderful opportunity to hire those workers when we lay off ours, instead of helping save jobs for all in the North County. Thank you.
Since the buyers of Golden Hill have applied to the IDA for a 25-year, $4 million property tax break, and since everyone is talking about putting this property back on the tax roll, have you as legislators secured in the sale that there will be no tax relief, no tax breaks, and no funds of any kind coming from the county or from the IDA to the new owners? You ask about ensuring that they would not hire staff from an agency in the Philippines. But that does not ensure that they will not hire from an agency somewhere else outside of the USA or work with an agency who gets their employees from outside the USA.
My name is Joe Cherished. I'm a resident of the Chautauqua County home. You county legislators were so eager to have a buyer that when he offered $13 million, they gave him $1.5 million of accounts receivable, causing the county legislators to receive only $15 million if the sale happens. The buyer also got the gas well on the county home lot in the contract. Why? This buyer or owner in his Ulster County home has only 4 aides for first and second shifts and 2 aides for the midnight shift to take care about approximately 280 residents. The buyer is putting dollars as a priority over care. Some departments at Ulster were contracted out, such as physical and occupational therapy and dietary, as employees were laid off. Only a few got their jobs back. Staff also have been fired for a lot of sick call-ins. In this proposed sale, 2 limited liability companies have been used as owner and buyer. Thus, it would be hard to find which one is responsible for abuse or neglect of residents. Can't you hear the sick and old and employees are calling out to you, the county legislators? Can't you hear their cries? Will you grasp their outstretched hands or let them cry in vain when you cast your vote for the buyers? Please don't cast that vote for the buyers. You did not do enough of research to begin with.
I've been a county taxpayer for over 40 years. I'm a retired special ed teacher. I'm also a U.S. Army veteran out of the 82nd Airborne. What I have here is my county taxes for 2012. Now, I'm not a rich man. I don't own a lot of property. I own a house, and I own a little bit of land behind it. My county taxes amount to about $400 a year. How much are you going to save me by selling the home? Anybody know? You might save me maybe $5. It's not worth the $5 that you're going to save me to do what you've done. You've further divided this county into north and south with the false promises of a tax reduction that we'll never see. Do not sell the county home.
These are the people that might not be able to have a bed here? These are the people we want to send to another public nursing home, maybe hundreds of miles away? Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to take these people, these vulnerable elderly, who in many cases have served our country, strong members of their communities for years? They deserve to be here, close to their loved ones, able to visit with their family on a regular basis. Even if it costs the taxpayers a little bit of money, it's our job, it's our duty, it's our obligation to provide for those people in our community who are not able to provide for themselves. We need to remember that the job of government, part of the job is to protect those vulnerable elderly. So with that in mind, I'm asking that you vote no on the sale of the county home.
The people of Chautauqua County step up when we are asked for help. We are ready to lend a hand when our neighbors, friends, and our communities need us to do so. Unfortunately, this is not the case with the Chautauqua County home. There is no doubt in my mind that if the county exec had asked for your support and generosity, if he had asked for your help in keeping this vital safety net for the people of this county, we wouldn't be having this vote tonight. Instead, the county executive has taken the lead in telling you what a burden we are, how the taxpayers can no longer support this money-losing operation. The funny thing is that as taxpayers, we financially support all county services, profit or not. Some of you have said we need to take the emotions out of it and see it from a business point of view. I'm sorry, but the residents of the county home and the people who live in Chautauqua County are much more to me than a business deal. Yeah, I'm emotional because I know all too well that if the home is sold, we will lose one of the most vital services our county has to offer. You are not just selling a building. You are selling a mission and a promise made to each and every single person living in this county that regardless of their ability to pay, we will take care of them. A mission to serve, protect, and care for those in need without a for-profit bottom line.
Here are some things we should keep in mind about our county home and the other county facilities in New York that have been sold. 1, it isn't losing money. Due to conditions imposed on all county homes, ours runs a deficit. As intended, IGT funds, local and federal, cover those deficits. Sometimes we have a surplus from them. Our home isn't a tax burden because it isn't funded in the budget and through the tax levy, either in 2013 or 14. There are those who lack confidence to allow our county home to run as the highly effective public service it has been for decades. What should we know about the public homes sold by other counties in the state? This brief summary comes from the August 2013 CGR report on county homes. Fulton, Montgomery, and Delaware counties all sold their homes between 2006 and 2011. They were spending 7, 12, and 15% respectively from their local tax levies to support their homes. When we fund our county home, we needn't fear it will fold up shop as a number of private businesses have recently. Over the years, we have supported such companies generously through every administration and its IDA. Let's admit that the county home isn't the only thing we support outside the budget and tax levy. Such support for private businesses can and does run amok. They sold for $3.5 million, $860,000, and $2.5 million. In Fulton, the quality of the county home and its reputation has declined. In Montgomery, both finances and the quality of care have improved. However, this privately owned facility isn't as accessible for hard-to-place patients and those on Medicaid. In Delaware, the sale to a for-profit owner led to a continuous turmoil and a decline in care. New York State closed the facility in October 2012. Tax savings for all these counties were tiny and temporary. The big difference between these counties and ours is that they have much smaller tax levies and couldn't afford their homes. We, on the other hand, can afford the luxury of turning our home into a political football via a contrived crisis in order to dump this fine public institution at a bargain basement price.
I'm the first person that many of these families call when they're looking for placement for someone. They've been in crisis, a medical crisis with their family member. If we have no room in this area, they are told that they will be looking in other areas. Our hospitals send to the Erie area, they send to the Buffalo area. Under Medicare guidelines, the discharge planners there are to seek placement within a 50-mile radius. There are many of our county residents, North and South County, who are residing in the Erie area and the Buffalo area. I've worked the private sector. I've worked as a discharge planner at Brooks Hospital, and I've worked at the county home for 13 years. So I think I've got a little bit of background in the process. I know that the dollars mean a lot of money, or mean a lot, and we do need to make some type of profit or at least break even. But we also have been given a mission to support the county residents. Our family members pay taxes all their lives, whether they needed the nursing home or not. In a private sector, the dollar is the bottom line. If you have no money and you're a Medicaid resident, you are one of the last ones to be considered, unless you have a disease that makes you more attractive to that facility. We do have residents who have no income. We get only the Medicaid dollars. Those are the people that will not be attractive to a private pay facility. Those are the ones whose families are going to have to go out of the area to visit them. Those are the ones who have 88-year-old wives who are able to drive in town, but they're not going to be able to drive in Buffalo. They're not going to be able to drive out to Erie. Those are the people that paid their taxes every year, live their law-abiding, hard-working lives, and those are the ones that you represent. I just wish that it would not be so much about money and more about what our true responsibilities are.